This is what the Lord gave me. He gave me 39 questions that people should ask themselves. This is what he told me. He said, we're facing at this time the greatest threats to freedom. Now, I wrote this down. We've ever seen in the history of man. It's greater than the days of Hitler, Mussolini, Stalin, or any of the others. Because the Hitlers we are seeing today are accepted by the whole world. The greatest deception of the ages is happening right now. I want you to ask yourself some questions. And the Lord said to do this. Okay. There was over $1 billion in various currencies put on a pallet and landed in Iran a while back. And then here's two. I'm just going to read the questions. Why would Iran be given this money? Why? Who gave Iran this money? Who? Why would Obama tell Russia, I can do more after I'm elected again? Why? Who said they would be up for a third term as president if they could sit like in a basement or something and put an earpiece in someone's ear and do it through them?
People would ask me, knowing what you know now, do you wish like you had a third term? And I used to say, you know what, if I could make an arrangement where I had a stand-in, a front man or front woman, and they had an earpiece in, and I was just in my basement in my sweats looking through the stuff, and then I could sort of deliver the lines, but somebody else was doing all the talking and ceremony. I'd be fine with that.
So you have to ask yourself, who said that? Okay, who is the only president to stay in D.C. after he was no longer the president? What president bowed to a Saudi king? Who is the only president to organize over 250 community organizing groups since 2010? How does someone sit in a basement with a face covering, run for president of the U.S. that could draw maybe 250 people to a parking lot, defeat an incumbent so popular they could hold 5 rallies a day and draw 15 to 20,000 people per rally? How does that happen? Who was it that said the next president will face a pandemic? In 15, Gates said the same thing. In 17, Fauci said the same thing. So you have to ask yourself, who said that? And how does a vice president threaten a company in the Ukraine with withholding federal money if they don't fire a certain person, and it be on video? Because his son had financial interest in that company. Okay, how does a man with clear mental issues and who is the most unpopular politician we know become president of the United States? How are the ballot places closed down in the middle of counting them, then in the middle of the night get caught pulling hidden ones out from under a table and adding them to the tally? How does that happen and nobody go to jail? Why did things like this only happen in swing states? Why was an $85 billion war machine and stacks of cash given to the Taliban? Why would Vladimir Putin put his whole nation at risk of being alienated by the rest of the world? And why are there photos of people in the Ukraine? You know, we could even say this, and there's various explanations, but they're carrying cardboard rifles. They say they're training, or wooden rifles. They say they're training them with wooden rifles. Okay, well, okay, if that's the way it is, that's the way it is. But you got to ask yourself, why would these photos be released? Why would someone as communist and corrupt as George Soros stand with the Ukraine against Putin? Why would a planned thing that led to that, why would that lead to bribing, forcing people to take that? Why does Joe Biden speak from a fake White House? Why does Joe Biden use a poorly interactive green screen? What could getting rid of DJ, Benjamin, and turning the world against Putin have in common? And who could it benefit? Why is the giant Hadron Collider in Switzerland built on the ancient temple of Apollo? Why was a statue of the false Hindu god Shiva placed outside CERN? And why did Obama appear on the cover of Newsweek as Shiva? Now there's the Hindu false god Shiva, which is the god of destruction. And it's placed outside CERN, where the giant Hadron Collider is, and there's Obama, who appeared as this god on the cover of Newsweek. That's right. Why does the same image of Shiva, why is it at the head of the table, the conference table, when they met, when China met with the World Health Organization, I forget what year this was. Why was that? Look at the head of that table. Why is that sitting there at the World Health Organization? Why was Obama called the Messiah and the Anointed One? Why did CERN hold a dramatization in front of high-ranking political figures? And why did they simulate a sex orgy and that dramatize breaking through a wall and bringing a goat man from the other side of it? Why would they do this? People need to ask themselves a question. Could I be seeing everything the way it's really happening, or could I be in a movie set bringing in real people to suffer to add the touch of reality? I want you to think about something. What's the biggest shows on television right now, and has been for years? Reality programs. Now, watch this. Why did Hillary Clinton, when she was First Lady, call in two of the most powerful witches in the world to the White House? Why did they hold a seance? And why did she channel the spirit of Eleanor Roosevelt? Why was there a human sacrifice acted by people in robes at the CERN facility? Why was the temple of Baal destroyed by ISIS, but the arch of the temple spared? All by a bunch of thugs in the back of Toyotas with machine guns. They didn't have the technology to do that. Why was truck drivers? I was talking to a truck driver I know very, very well during that time. He said, we were hauling brand new Toyota pickups to the southern border, and ISIS was coming and picking them up and carrying them from the southern border to wherever they were going. He said the next thing we knew, we'd look on television and they'd be in those trucks riding down the streets. Who ordered that? Then you have to ask yourself this. Why was the Arch of Baal 3D printed and showed up in Central Park when Hillary Clinton was running for president? Why was the Arch of Baal placed in the park across the street from the judicial building when Brett Kavanaugh was being confirmed? Why did Boris Johnson dedicate an Arch of Baal in London? Why did the president of Italy dedicate one as well? Why was there plans to 3D print 1,000 of them? That's question 39. Why would all of this happen? People must begin to ask themselves these questions. If you find the thread that connects all these things, you will start to find your answer.